Hello and welcome to the Bangover report for Michigan Metal Fest. As always, I'm Taz.
I'm Jazz.
We're tired as hell. It's been a long. Okay, anyway, moving on. Michigan Metal Fest, hosted at Battle Creek, Michigan, in Battle Creek, Michigan, was all in all amazing.
Mm.
Um, very hectic on our part. May or may not have bit off a little bit more than we can chew in terms of quantity of interviews.
May or may not have.
Yeah, I know. But because of all of the interviews that we did, first of all, I don't regret doing that at all because we met some amazing people.
Mm.
Um, the festival as a whole, I think, was ran really well. Um, my main critique on the festival as a whole is the location of the media tent.
Yeah.
Um, ad- Admittedly, that's not really something that most people going to festivals have to worry about, but it was located really close to the main stage, so we did have to reschedule a couple of interviews, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just so that there was no noise interference, um, which we have spoken to the people on the board, right?
Yeah, I spoke to a few people on the board, and they said it's something they would look at next year. They're not really sure what they could do because apparently there isn't much area. But one thing I said is have it near the food stuff because it seemed like that was a quiet spot.
Yeah, that was probably the least affected. I mean,
Yeah,
like, of course, there was still
ambient.
residual um, sound from the stages, but
Well, from people walking around and stuff.
right, and it being at a festival, there's always going to be ambient noise and people going by and things like that, and that's just things that we have to work around. But away from the media side of things, honestly, I don't really have much of the critique.
Mm-mm.
They had plenty of porta potties scattered in a lot of different locations. The stages were very well placed um, in terms of like um, vicinity to each other.
Yeah. Honestly, the porter potties were all in good spots because, like, you could still watch a stage from most of them.
Yeah, while
Like,
you
as
wait,
weird as
like
that sounds, like,
yeah. Well, because I mean, there's
you could
always
still be
times where you
involved.
yeah, there's times where you're waiting to go to the bathroom, and like they're not just like shoved off into a corner. Like there was some like that was way at the back by the main stage, like across from the main stage, I should say.
Hmm.
And so you can stand there while you're needing to go to the bathroom and still enjoying the show that's going on
Hmm.
over there. Um,
There was some up the hill from the second stage.
yeah, there was some up the hill from the second stage. No, that was the fountain stage. That was a small one. The one where we saw Blackout at. The one where we.
I'm talking about the
Oh
first
yeah,
second
yeah.
stage.
Okay, no, you're right. There was also some up on the hill from the small stage too, though. That's where I was a little confused.
So pretty much each one had.
Yeah, each stage had their own bathrooms. It was really close,
Yeah.
basically, and through the merch area as well. Um, the biggest main theme that I got from all of the artists that we spoke to was you're playing with friends.
Mm.
Everyone there was friends in some way or another. Raven from Raven Black said that quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
L from Cultus Black said that. Same with Jesse from Mantra.
Well, we even saw some of them just hanging out in the crowd watching other
Yeah,
people.
yeah. Jesse was a big one for that.
Mm-hmm.
She was,
Well,
she was,
Raven and Jesse were hanging out together
yeah,
watching
yeah. Raven and
the
Jesse
show.
were both there, just watching the other bands play and like hyping the other bands up, which I think is absolutely fantastic. It's really good to
Mm-hmm.
see these artists not be so selfish about their own set and like hyping up their friends.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It honestly it had a like hometown fair feel.
Yeah, and almost like a familial feel
Yeah,
as
like
well
not in
to
a
it.
bad way, just
Basically, it was kind of like, all of the bands kind of knew each other and they'd played together before and they were just having a great time being with their friends.
yeah.
Um, and I believe it was Raven that said this. It was either Raven or Jesse. I think it was Raven said that if it didn't cost her money to be able to tour and put the show on for her fans, she would put on free shows
Mhm.
just because it's what she enjoys doing and it's
Mhm.
what she loves. And on it, you could really see that in her performance.
Mhm.
Like she was having a blast up there,
Mhm.
and the biggest sweetheart.
She is.
She's a fantastic person. Um, sorry. Um, so the interviews that we did get, we unfortunately had one that we were not able to come through with, and that was Vorath. Unfortunately, I don't think that was anyone's real fault. It just kind of didn't.
I think communication.
Communication was probably the biggest issue there, and unfortunately, we were not able to sit down with Vorath and interview them. But every single other person that agreed to an interview with us did pull through with it.
Mhm.
Um, what was the most entertaining on yours? Do you think, like from your side of things? An
Of the
interview,
interviews?
yeah.
Um, I don't know. I don't know. As bad as it sounds with the interviews, I was more stressed about the sound and stuff to where I didn't pay that much attention.
Okay,
Like I
yeah,
was listening to everything else, wondering if we're getting the, sound and
yeah.
all that. Um, I mean, snippets that I remember, just Jessie was really sweet.
Hmm.
Ironically enough, she's from an itty bitty town in Indiana.
Yep. So she's
You
actually
know,
not that far from us, which is kind of cool.
yeah, literally, I think she's Farmland. I think that
Not
was
a
the
hundred.
name of the town, like
Yeah,
Farmland or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
Like just some itty bitty town, which I'm from an itty bitty town in Indiana,
yeah.
so
There
it was kind
was
of
you could almost like feel the small town coming off of them though.
yeah,
Both her and Josh.
yeah, but not again, not in a bad way. Like they
Yeah,
just
the
like
the
they're
good
the type,
side of the small town
yeah,
thing.
they're the type of people that like they'd invite you in for dinner. You know, like doesn't matter who
Well,
you are, they'd
I
invite
mean,
you in for
I
dinner.
think at the end of the interview, she came up to you and asked you if she could give you a hug.
She did. She did. I
And
went to shake her hand and she's like, "That feels weird. Can I hug you?"
and
Yeah, it's
like
fine.
she really was a huge sweetheart.
Yeah.
And
She did a lot of shout outs.
yeah, a lot of shout outs. She even shouted out our friends, Jim and Jess at No Barricades Photography,
Yeah.
because we were completely honest with Mantra of Mortar. We had never heard them before Jim and Jess introduced them to us.
Mm.
And we told Mantra of Mortar that, and they were like, "Oh, well, thank you, No Barricades Photography," and it was really
Mm.
cool. Um, like um, in the on the topic of shout outs, um, Raven. Raven was huge on that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she encouraged us to send the interview to her, the link for it, after it's up, which we will be getting that up hopefully shortly once we go through everything. It's been quite hectic. We haven't really had much of a chance. Um,
Hence why this is late.
yes, yes, this is very late, and this is not something that we like to do.
We got home and life went a little crazy.
Yes, very much so. But Raven, I specifically asked us to send her the link so that she can share it with all of her fans, and so that that can help us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she didn't have to do that. Like, there's
Well, and she is very, very much for her fans. Like,
yes,
we were supposed to interview her, and because of all the noise, we could only basically do interviews in between sets.
Yeah.
Which was so frustrating because even in between sets, they're doing, the
sound check for the
sound
next band.
checks or playing music, just,
over the PA.
over the PA, and
Were
so
they
that
playing the Macarena at this time though? Like right before Raven? It was
um
something like
might have
that.
been somebody was playing.
It was something like
There was
that.
like a rock Macarena mix.
Yeah. Which it was fun, but I mean,
Mhm.
it didn't really help us.
Yeah. But like, so we were trying to get her interview in, and um she was signing stuff, and she didn't make any fan like hurry up because she had something to do or anything like that. So we just kind of waited,
Yeah,
you know.
and this isn't being said in any way in a bad way. This is a completely a positive point that we are trying to make, is that basically when her fans were there, we were put on the back burner.
Hmm.
And because of what we stand for in terms of our media stuff and wanting to push the lesser known artists, as we're wearing Ice Nine Kills shirts, as we're trying to push the smaller, lesser known artists, the fans are what make them. The fans are what make every band.
Hmm.
But it's really good to be able to see that they're willing to push back a little bit of publicity to interact with their fans.
Hmm.
And that is the best thing that we can see. Like,
And she signed like everything under the sun.
yeah, she signed anything that anyone put towards her.
Yeah.
And we think it's amazing that she did that.
Yeah, she even signed a comic for our son.
Yep. And a sticker for us.
Hmm.
Um, interview wise, the one that I think was the most fun for me, which I think you're going to know exactly.
Elle.
Yeah. Interviewing Elle from Cultus Black was the most fun because that's the band that I knew the most there.
Hmm.
And Cultus Black, it was your first time seeing them.
Hmm.
You'd heard some of their music from me playing them.
Yeah.
But what was your impression of their set?
Um, they were fun. They're interesting. I was pleasantly surprised at how much the other guys can entertain and emote.
Being with the fact that they've got the ski masks.
Yeah,
And
being that they're basically blank. Like,
yeah, they're basically shadow people on the stage with what they wear.
yeah.
Which is it's a really cool aesthetic that they've got.
Hmm. But like, the one guitarist, like even with that, he was one of the most entertaining, just like messing around on stage. And
The one far stage left.
yes.
He jumped up on the speaker before the set started and was hyping the whole crowd.
Yeah.
For if the members of Cultus see this, if we do not specifically say who you are, it's because we're not 100% sure who's who. So sorry.
Which is kind of the point.
I know. But
that's kind of the point. So for us, it's the one far stage left, and then the one that isn't a skinny mini, because most of them are really tall and skinny. But
that
one
one's
guy.
Wade.
Okay.
Yeah, the more built one is Wade.
Yeah, he's more built. There's the drummer, and then there's the other one who sang. That wasn't Elle.
So he kind of did like percussion and vocals.
Yeah.
Off to the side, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he would jump up on his stuff too.
He jumped into the crowd.
See, I wasn't there for that.
Yeah. He jumped. I caught him. Yeah. I 100% was in that crowd for that entire set because
ruined his hair.
Yep, completely ruined my my braid-ins that you will see in these interviews, but totally worth it. Totally worth it. I had an absolute blast with that. It was so much fun. My favorite set, my favorite interview.
I'm not surprised.
I don't think anyone that knows me would be.
He even has a tattoo of him.
Yes, very recently. It's not completely healed up yet, but very recently got my cultist black tattoo. Showed that to L, and he was really excited about it.
You're supposed to send him a picture
I
of
am
it.
supposed to send him a picture of it.
You forgot about that.
Yeah, it's been a few days. It's been a
They
hectic few days.
they were amusing. They also, everyone there honestly like was for the fans. Like I
Hmm.
can't say any one band like we talked about Raven Black being for the fans, but like so was Jesse, so
Hmm.
was
Megan.
Cultus was like, okay, we're gonna go stand because they were kind of like off right next to the stage.
Yep.
Like that's where their merch booth was. They're like, okay, we're gonna go stand over there, and they stood there as long as there was somebody in line.
Yep.
Like they didn't try to rush anybody. They joked and played around. Um, the one guy stole his
Yeah.
hair,
They made my
like,
hair his hair.
and then was like, "You have no evidence," and I'm like, "I just took pictures." Like I have all the evidence, and he's like, "Shh."
Yeah, they were a lot of fun. Jessie was talking to any fan that wanted to come up
Hmm.
to talk to her. Same with her husband Josh.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, they just kind of wandered
yeah,
the place.
and with how like unique her aesthetic is,
She's very
and
recognizable.
she's very recognizable, especially at Michigan Metal Fest. She was wearing white. The makeup that she had was extremely distinctive. Not to mention her bright red dreads that she had too.
Hmm.
Like she was very recognizable, and like
Yeah,
she was.
pretty much all the bands kind of wandered around.
Yep.
It's just whether you could
Whether you knew,
realize it's them or
yeah,
not. Like I know Cultist Black wandered around and we didn't realize a few times. We're like, maybe.
yeah. I mean, and a lot of that is due to the difficulty of because they're all faceless basically on stage.
Yeah.
Um,
Who was painting everyone?
Casket Robbery.
Okay.
Casket Robbery was painting everyone. They were giving everyone arm black and
Or
painting
neck.
the necks. I did intend to do that too with them, but I just never got around to it. Um,
Well, we were running.
yeah,
Like
we were nonstop all day. Um,
that's probably my only personal complaint is everything was so separated and then the media tent. Like
yeah,
and with my ankle just trying to do all those hills
yeah.
was hard.
But aside from like the hills, it was still a very nice place for them to
Hmm.
host
It
it.
was very pretty.
Hmm.
They had some really cool carvings over by the roots
Quality root stage
quality root stage. There was some
for all
cool
your weed
carvings.
needs. Apparently,
Oh yeah.
Quality Roots was a weed
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, they give out poker chips
Like
for free.
for a free edible or free pre-rolled.
Yeah. They give
My
out goodie bags.
my day job being union, I don't participate in any of that. Not that I have anything against it, but
My day job no longer being union, I sometimes participate.
yes. But to each their own, I guess. But yeah, the Quality Root stage was actually pretty cool. Like
Mm-hmm.
the carvings, but the stage itself, because it was kind of one that was already there.
Yeah, it was a permanent stage.
Yeah, it was a permanent stage there, and we only caught a partial of one set there because it was the furthest, and with Jazz's ankle, it kind of makes it a little bit more difficult to make those longer treks.
Hopefully after surgery I'll be better.
Yes, yes,
I get to go into surgery again. So.
yeah. So due to that, we didn't really go and see that many there. The one partial set that we did see was actually a somewhat friend of ours band. Um, can't quite remember the name because
Third party friend.
yeah, Inverted Vision. Inverted Vision was the band. We had covered his other band, Aether Aura, in at Northwest Indiana Metal
Mm-hmm.
Fest.
Mm-hmm.
He was the bassist in that one, and he's the vocalist in Inverted Visions. So, because we'd covered them before and we had a great interaction with them
And
at
also
Northwest
we ran
Indiana,
into
we ran into the vocalist of
yeah.
Aether Aura. Um, because of that interaction that we had and all of that, we wanted to go and, you know, interact with them again. And
Also, it was earlier in the day and we weren't quite as tired, and
yeah,
eventually just the sun. It was so hot.
it was
I
very
got
hot.
burnt.
I think I've actually got
I got so burnt.
I've actually got like tan lines from the makeup.
That's hilarious.
I think I have tan lines from my makeup.
I like I have like the tank top tan lines.
Yeah, it was quite warm, um, but you get that with every festival. Really, there's no getting away from it. Um, bands that we haven't spoken about yet. Blackout. They opened the Fountain stage. We interviewed them too. They were really great guys.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of their set?
It was good. They they were fun to watch. They were energetic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they were one of the ones that didn't have a shtick that I still enjoyed quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, they had a very, for lack of a better term, old style rocker kind of vibe to them.
They did.
Kind of more leaning towards like the Pantera,
which they started out as a cover.
Yeah, they started out as like an early 2000s cover band. And they, in the interview, this was all discussed in the interview, so when we get that up, you'll be able to see it all firsthand from their mouths. But it basically all started so that they can get the correct feel for the members, and then started going out on their own with their own original music.
Yeah.
Which I think it was really good. They put on a great show. I had fun watching them.
Yeah.
Heavy Lies the Crown. We interviewed them, but unfortunately, due to like the conflict of the stages and things like that, we didn't get to catch any of. Yeah, we didn't get to catch any of their set. Which guys from Heavy, again, we're really sorry.
They were really nice.
They were fantastic guys. I do really want to catch their set at some point. Because of their story and a lot of the things that they told us in the interview, it really makes me want to.
Yeah. That's one of the hard parts with festivals, especially when you're working media. Like, it's hard enough to try to catch, like, even, half of the bands when you're at a festival because they overlap, they're on different sides of the stage, and you're there all day. So there's points where you want to go get food, you want to, just relax. That didn't really happen for us because,
Right.
We're trying to run around, see as many as we can, and do interviews and do pictures and stuff. So
Yeah,
it's extra hard to see a lot.
It really is. We do our absolute best to catch as much as we can.
Yeah.
But realistically, with doing interviews, which are on a schedule, because obviously the bands have a schedule that they have to keep, and working around all of those different schedules, it makes it a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Which these are all understandable things. This is not a complaint about how things are scheduled or anything. I mean, I'm the one that does the scheduling. So if I was complaining, I'd be complaining about myself, which in a way I kind of am. For future, I'm not going to be stretching us quite so thin. Because as you can see with this report, a lot of it has been about how we interacted with the members of the bands in the interviews. We did catch a lot of great sets.
Psycho Stick was funny.
Psycho Stick was funny.
They're very much a joke.
Well, yeah, they're a parody band.
Yeah,
so.
they did a great song about beard.
Beards, yes. Grow a beard, it solves all your problems, according to them.
Yeah, even like getting in a car accident, just grow a beard.
Yep, that's perfectly fine. So I do want to shout out some bands that we did see that I thought were really, really good. We already mentioned Blackout. New Skin, I thought they were pretty cool. They were the ones that played before Mantra of Mortar.
Okay.
New Skin, they were really cool. Obviously, Mantra of Mortar, Cultist Black, Casket Robbery. We didn't really touch a lot on Castle Robbery on this one, but they were amazing people. Great interview. We had a lot of fun with them. Um, Hemlock, I didn't really catch a whole lot of theirs because that was right around the time of the interview with Cultus Black. So I didn't really catch a whole lot of Hemlock, but I did get a little bit. Um, Raven, obviously, we've already discussed Raven Black. All of the touring bands had a great set. Um, my only like real somewhat of a complaint for the from the actual like shows is there wasn't that much of a like actual pit to really have fun in. It might have looked big from where you were at, but
What about the sombrero pit?
that would have been fun. I didn't get to go in that, so I really should have actually gone in for Psycho Stick, but I didn't. Um, what was the reason for that?
Mm.
Oh, the interview with who? Oh, the interview with Heavy Lies the Crown was going to be right after them.
Oh, and I'd already said something about your hair's coming
Yeah,
out.
she was mad at me about getting my hair messed up, so I didn't want to
Because I
make her
spent
angry again.
I probably spent 2 hours driving there doing it.
Yeah, it did.
So.
It did take a lot of time, and it did look really good. I liked it, but we did learn about what would make it better, and we're going to implement that next time.
I think this, for us at least, this was very much a learning festival. It was very much learning.
Yes.
With the interviews, with what we can and can't do, stretching ourselves, with his hair, with a bunch of things. It was a learning festival.
Yeah, and a lot of these things that made it a little bit harder is due to our everyday lives. I was put on night shift for the week prior, and this week that's why she's extremely tired, because I got home from work and I woke her up and say, "Hey, we're doing this now."
Yeah. Whereas I've had something I've had every single day this week where I had to get up at I got to get up with our kids, and then I had to go and do different appointments and stuff, all during the week. So I'm running around all day. He's working all night. We don't exactly have much time.
Yeah. So that's why it's this Bangover report has been a little bit less than what we would normally do. We're not as hyperactive. We're not as tangenty, I guess, would be one thing.
Go on some tangents if you really want me to. I'm not sure they'd be about this, but I'm sure I could find a tangent.
Right. But one thing that I want everyone who checks this out to be aware of is, and I'm kind of changing the subject drastically here, going back to the music. Raven Black, Casket Robbery, and Cultus Black, with a few other like guest bands, are going to be doing a tour through October.
Mm-hmm.
And things that we are not privileged to talk about, we were told. But
there's some fun new stuff on the horizon.
Yes, but one thing that I think that I can say is their special Halloween show in Battle Creek. It's not one you guys want to miss.
Mm.
It's going to be a good one. We've been invited out there. We're going to do our best to make it out there. But yeah, that's at the Music Factory in Battle Creek, Michigan on the 28th of October. Mm-hmm. Raven Black, Cultus Black, Casket Robbery, and I think Dying Oath was the other one.
I think so, yeah.
It's going to be a great show. I really hope that we can organize our things to get out there.
Yeah.
It is quite of a hike for us, so we have to make some plans, make some arrangements to be able to get out there. That's definitely one that I want to check out.
Yeah.
What are some other points that we needed to touch on here? Sorry, we are tired.
um, there's a lot of free stuff given out. That was kind of cool.
There was it was kind of
Hair
like,
scrunchies.
yep,
Those blow up bats.
those were joints, honey.
They look like bats.
They were joints.
No, they had an end.
They were joints.
They had,
It was Quality Roots giving them out. They
but
were
it,
joints.
the end had the bat.
Okay, yes, they may have been inflatable bats, but they were joints.
I get that they were supposed to be joints, but they were shaped like a bat. Like it wasn't just a end; it was a thing.
I didn't see the bottom part, so. But yes, there was big inflatable joints that were given out. Raven Black threw out a whole bunch of like little stuffies.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Stickers galore.
Mm.
Pretty much every band had stickers that they were either selling or giving away super cheap.
Yeah.
I think
like $1
I think
per sticker.
Yeah, I think the most expensive was no, it was the most expensive was $5 from Mantra of Mortar, but that's because they're decals, not stickers.
Yeah, and it was like that big. It's not little either.
Nice big, and they're really cool too. We scored ourselves a couple of those. One for our daughter, one for us. Raven Black was selling stickers. Michigan Metal Fest was selling stickers. We like stickers. Stickers are kind of our thing.
Yeah.
Soon enough, you'll see a canvas full of stickers behind us once we get it full, but we're working on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Glow sticks.
Glow sticks, they were getting thrown around like nobody's business.
It was kind of cool to watch, honestly.
It was cool to watch, and I'm honestly surprised that the bands were okay with it because they were getting thrown at the bands.
Oh yeah, even the bands are like, we're getting hit.
Yeah, but like they weren't mad. They were joking about it. Like I think it was Born of Osiris was making the joke that he felt like he was in the Matrix, dodging all these glow sticks.
Yeah.
One I don't know if you saw this. This was really funny. Someone threw it was an orange glow stick. They threw it, and they actually, you know how there's the hole in the front of the bass drum?
Mm-hmm.
They got it in the hole.
Oh, that's good.
They got it in the hole in the front of the bass drum for Born of Osiris. So that was really entertaining and really, really funny. Because they even pointed it out, and it went on the big screen. The camera people zoomed in on it.
Okay.
Yeah, that was really freaking cool. But yeah, the glow sticks were a lot of fun.
They got to keep the pieces of the sombrero. You should tell the people about the sombrero.
The sombrero. So it's a song that Psycho Stick does. How did it go? It was like, get that motherfucker with a sombrero or something like that.
Yeah.
So the band in between songs asked who the toughest guy in the pit was.
Mm-hmm.
And it was this big dude. He was probably about my size.
I think he was
like a little bit bigger on the shoulders.
I think he was more muscly than you too.
Yeah, it was a little bit bigger in the shoulders, but they said the toughest guy in the pit, and they pointed him out, and they came and they put a sombrero on him, and it was a whole game for the pit, and he had to keep the sombrero.
Mm-hmm.
That was the whole thing, and everyone else in the pit was needing to get it from him. Needless to say, that sombrero did not last.
No. He did keep a piece of it though. He had like the string.
He had the drawstring, yeah.
Well, he had the drawstring, and then he had like how sombreros have the edging string around the.
Yeah. But like they were playing throughout this while it was all happening, and they're like, okay, hang on. Does he still have it? And he actually pops up, and he still had the whole sombrero.
Only for the first time, though.
Yeah, only for the first time. He had the whole sombrero still on his head. And they're like, well, that's not good enough. And they continue playing, and like the part of the song was get that with a sombrero. Mm-hmm. Or something along those lines. I'm not real familiar with Psycho Stick's music, but I think that's what it was. Mm-hmm. And after that, it was in pieces. There were people with handfuls of this sombrero. Yeah. And then they're like, okay, everyone who's got a piece of the sombrero, hold it up. And like, what, 10 to 15 people?
Something like that.
Like, were holding up pieces of the sombrero. A friend of a friend that went with us, he had a huge chunk of it. And then they're like, well, we've still got some of this song left. So everyone, get that with the sombrero. So then that was like everyone else onto these 15 people trying to get pieces of this sombrero.
It was crazy.
Like it was wild. Like these people were savage during that.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been a lot of fun to go in. I just at the time I wasn't feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and again,
It was
I
amusing to watch.
had an interview. We had an interview coming up, so I had to restrain myself from the fun. But it was very entertaining to watch. If you get a chance to go see Psycho Stick, go do it. Like, if you don't know who it is, if you follow on TikTok, the Drowning Pool parody song where I can only count to 4,
Mm-hmm.
that's Psycho Stick. I didn't know that until I started playing it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I know this.
Well, even they said we're just TikTok famous.
Yeah, they even pointed that out, and I was like, wait a minute, what? And they started playing. I'm like, oh.
Did you notice? I think it was Raven Black did the little bit from Little Nicky.
No, I was actually back by the media area for that one because we were waiting for someone.
Okay.
So I didn't. I don't know what you're talking about. I missed that.
I'm pretty sure it was Raven Black. I knew it was main stage. Pretty sure it was Raven Black, but it was the oh, I can't. Oh, my brain's.
Bringo Bird.
Yeah.
Bird.
It's the
Bird.
Jesus this, Moses that. Abraham hit me with a baseball bat.
I think that was Raven Black. I think I do recall that. Yeah.
But it was the Little Nicky. That's from Little Nicky.
Okay.
That moment when one of the brothers in Little Nicky is possessing the priest, and he's up on the pulpit.
Yeah. Okay. I got you now. Yeah.
And he does the Jesus this, Moses that. Abraham hit me with a baseball bat.
I think that definitely seems like something Raven Black would do. So I think it was them.
She didn't do the but
yeah. Well, there's a first main tangent that we've had. Oh crap! I've completely spaced now. Oh, one thing that Mantra of Morta is wanting to do more of. They have done it in the past, and that is Jessie doing the performing while she does the body suspension.
Mm-hmm. That'd be really cool to see.
That would be amazing to see, especially since I've had a bit of a morbid curiosity about the body suspension. It's definitely something that I want to see.
Possibly
do, depending. So yeah, Jesse, when you watch this, I do have the thought of it. Be in contact. I'd like to maybe give it a shot one day. So I'll be in contact. I got you. But all in all, I think this festival was a really good one. It is still new. It is still on the smaller side, which I think is kind of good considering like the feel of it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it is starting to grow. They were sponsored by Liquid Death, the water this year, which is a new thing. Quality Roots is also a big sponsor this year. It's going to grow. I really think it's going to grow. It's going to be a good one. I just hope it doesn't grow too much. Like I wish all the success for Michigan Metal Fest, but for my personal preference, I hope it doesn't grow too much. I like the small, familial, friendly feel behind it. That is probably my biggest praise for it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So next year, get your tickets, check out Michigan Metal Fest. A lot of it is the smaller local bands. Yes, a lot of them do travel for it, but it's not the bands that will sell out these huge ass stadiums, these huge ass theaters.
So some of them deserve it.
A lot of them deserve it.
Yeah.
There are so many that really deserve it, and they deserve the recognition.
And there's other fun stuff there too. The haunted house.
Oh, right. That's what I was going to bring up earlier. Burr. There was Dark Side Haunted Attraction. They had a lot of their characters out there. I was actually in the mosh pit with one of them
Which I feel
quite a few
so
times.
sorry for them.
Oh, those silicone masks in that heat.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Especially the one devil guy.
Yep.
Or the like butcher pirate kind of guy. He had so many layers on.
Yeah, he would have struggled a little bit. He ended up in the sombrero pit.
He did.
Yep.
He took off most of his costume.
He took off most of the costume and he went in that sombrero pit. That was actually entertaining to see. But they were also invited on stage by Raven.
Mm-hmm.
They had all those haunt characters up there with Raven Black, and that would have been really, really cool to do.
He was a little jealous.
I was, because that would have been a lot of fun to do. As we've mentioned in the past, we both done haunt acting in our lives, and it was a very big part of our lives for quite a while. Unfortunately, life happens, and different pursuits kind of start to take a little bit more of a priority.
And my ankle can't take it.
Yeah. Then
haunting is honestly really physical. It's
yes.
Very.
Anyone who thinks that working in a haunted house
is easy, it's not.
Try it for a night. Try it for a night with no help.
Mm-hmm.
You will not feel good the next day.
You won't feel good that night.
Nope.
If you're not smart, you're gonna lose your voice.
Yep. You'll potentially pass out.
Yeah, that happens. You end up sick.
Mm-hmm.
There's haunt plague.
Yeah, that's a thing. That is definitely a thing.
You
Very similar to festival flu.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of it's honestly more like when the kids go back to school. Mm-hmm. Like that's how I think of haunt plague.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when the kids go back to school. It's everybody is in such close proximity and they just you can't help but share the germs, and you're also all up in, all
random
these
people's faces,
and
especially like on the busy nights of the haunt that we worked at.
Mm-hmm.
We were seeing upwards of 2,000 people a night.
Yeah.
You get up close and personal with that many people.
Somebody's gonna get you sick.
Yeah. The main time that two times that I got COVID was
Mm-hmm.
from people coming through a haunted house.
Or people who work there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's really hard on your body. It's rare that there isn't, I don't know, 10 injuries a night at least.
We're not talking like major like bones broken things, which that has happened.
But like cuts and stuff.
Yep.
Like
my first year I ended up with a huge gash going on my arm here because I slipped and chicken wire caught me. And we're good now. Haunt acting is a very hard thing to do, which do we want to announce the whole dark side thing? Possibly. I'll do it. We were invited out to the Dark Side Haunted Attraction. There we go. They are doing a free concert on 2 nights of their haunt season. Mm-hmm. We were invited out to, give some media coverage for that, and also to do a review of their haunted house. Mm-hmm.
Which there are more than one haunted house.
They have 5 attractions.
Yeah.
And for a very reasonable price. I think it was only like $20-something.
I think it was $28.
Yeah. And that for 5 attractions.
Yeah.
Which, of course, we aren't 100% sure on what the quality is, but from what we've heard, it's going to be really good. We spoke to quite a few of the haunt actors there.
The costumes they came out with were good.
The costumes were on point.
Yeah, like it was pretty funny. The one girl trying to get me.
Yeah.
Being another haunt person, I was kind of like, eh.
Yeah, one of you tell the story. It happened to you.
So it was like a doll character.
She chose the wrong member of this team to try and creep out.
Yeah, like she came up and like got real close, and I was just kind of like, "Sup?" And she said, What did
She
she
wanted
say to
your
me?
eyes.
I know, but what did she say to me? Um,
I couldn't
I
hear it
something
all.
about I like this one, and it'll only hurt for a minute or something like that. And me being a haunt person, I was like, oh, what'll hurt? It's supposed to creep you out, but I'm just like, oh, what's going on?
Well, and a big part of why you do that and why I tend to do that at haunted attractions is that we are big fans of improv.
Hmm.
Like when we act in the haunted houses, we
It's
are big
fun.
improv actors. We love it when we get a good back and forth with the customers coming through.
A good interaction.
I said good. I said a
A
good
good,
interaction.
because some people are, yeah.
There are
You're
some people
not
that are terrible
scary,
to work off of. Like,
or just the whole time. You're not scary. You're not okay.
okay, cool. We're not going to
Go
get
away.
everyone. Keep walking. Find
Like,
someone that does
I
tea.
wasn't scared by this chick either, but I still had fun.
Yeah.
Like most of the
If
time, haunts don't scare us anymore because being a haunt actor, we're like, oh,
speak for
somebody's.
yourself. I am jumpy as shit in those
You are.
places.
You are.
So for any of the
Especially
actors
certain
that work at
rooms.
Darkside, you see this face coming through, you will probably get a reaction out of me because I'm jumpy as shit.
That's the funny thing. When it comes to this group, go after the guy.
Yep. Yep.
Most of the time they're like, oh, the girl's going to react, or
No, you don't want her to react, you'll get punched.
not intentionally.
Yeah. Yeah,
Not
that it's not an
intentionally.
intentional thing. She's almost punched me a couple of times just walking through the house and I scare her.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not
the fight or
intentional.
flight. But
Yeah.
I do the nice thing, and I either stick my hands in my pockets or I
Yeah.
hold on to like my own shirt or something. And
Or
I
my
haven't,
back.
yeah, like. And the funny thing is, a lot of times when I'm holding like your back, like they think I'm afraid, and it's like, well, I'm afraid of punching you, like.
But to be fair, they do get you to jump, and I don't say they don't because I feel you react when you're holding on to me.
Yeah, I'm not saying I don't jump. I'm saying I don't really get scared per se. Like, especially when we went to Blood Prison. Is it Blood Prison?
The one in Ohio?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Blood Prison.
When we went to the mini version of that during incarceration, like there was one point where it was pitch black and then they did like sparks right next to me. Of course I friggin' jumped. Like that, sparks right next to your head.
Yeah.
In pitch blackness, you're gonna jump. I'm not saying I don't jump. I don't get scared like by the scenarios or anything. Like I just play back with them.
Yeah. We don't really get like scared. We jump, we react. One, because we know what it's like if you're having a rough night and you're not getting any reactions. So we don't hide our reactions, basically is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
The best scare that has ever gotten me.
The doll room.
Oh my god, that doll room. This was at Hell's Gate in Lockport, Illinois. Easily one of the best haunted houses we've ever been to.
Mm-hmm. That one's very cool.
Their doll room was like, I don't know, what, 5 rooms.
I don't think it was. Every time you tell the story, it's more rooms.
I don't know.
It was honestly, it wasn't that it was multiple rooms. It's that it was the zigzag.
It was a long doll room. Like a lot of the time, you'll get like this little itty bitty section where it's just dolls.
No, it was almost like you took a library, a zigzag library, and just where all the books should be.
Yeah,
there's dolls.
Yeah,
like that's kind of how this doll room was, and it was the whole. You walk in, you go down, turn back.
Yeah.
Turn back. Like, so it was one room, but it was a long room. It wasn't just an open space. It was aisles, kind of.
But also, like, for part of these aisles, they had the translucent sheeting that was hanging down. And, like, in all of these little alleyways, there was a prop of a life-size doll. One of those wasn't a prop.
And it wasn't the last one either.
No, it wasn't the last one. It wasn't the first one. It was just a random one in there. And I didn't know. And I have a very irrational fear of these dolls. Like, they creep me the hell out. I hate them. Like, with a passion, I hate them. and this one actor or actress, don't know, I couldn't tell, very ambiguous. Um,
Well, they were covered head to toe.
yeah, just came at me through this sheeting, and I think
After we had passed.
yes, after we had passed, and I jumped like 3 to 5 feet in the air, and I screamed like a little girl.
And I just laughed.
Yes, and like I find that when I get scared that well, it's so much fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you can get me to react like that, then you did a fantastic job. And I don't know, I loved it. I hate those doll rooms. I always will. But yeah, if any haunt actors see these faces coming through, give us your all. You'll get some kind of a reaction out of us, whether it's praise for what you did or an actual scare. You'll get something. Because
Don't take offense if I'm staring at all the scenery.
no, that she's one of them. She's one of them. She'll look at all the props in the room, and we generally walk a little bit slower.
Really cool.
Yeah, there are a lot of cool props. We are getting way off topic here. We're supposed to be talking about Michigan metal.
Well, they had a haunt there.
Yeah. Well, they had haunt actors there. But yes, anyway, we have been invited out to Darkside Haunted Attraction. If I don't have the name 100% right, I apologize. But we've been invited out there. We're going to see what we can do to make it out for one of those free shows to cover the concert. And at that same day, we're also going to go through the attractions and do a review on them. That's doing haunt reviewing is something that we've kind of been talking to each other about for a little bit, and this kind of just fell into our lap. So we figured we would take the leap and see how it goes. So that will also be on this page. But I'm going to create a separate page just for haunt attractions. That doesn't make sense. Ugh. Anyway, did you have anything final before we wrap this up?
Not really. Go support your bands.
Yes.
They were all good. Anybody we heard didn't go
No.
Like they were good.
Everyone had a good sound or a good stage presence. There was always something good there. No matter what stage you were looking at, whether it was the little stage, the middle stage, or the big stage.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I don't think that the size of the stage dictated what band was more popular or better in this festival. Like they may have had more of a history, but I don't think that really dictates talent or skill.
Well, also it seemed like each stage still had a big crowd.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yep.
Like, yeah, the main stage probably had a bit more, but like the hill next to the fountain stage.
Yep, that was always full of people.
There was always people just sitting there enjoying the music.
Yep.
And the same with the quality root stage. Like there was people kind of chilling over there too.
Yeah. And people seem to move stage to stage quite a bit. There was no one just riding the rail. I don't think I saw anyone actually like deliberately riding the rail. And I mean, you were in the photo pit for a lot of it, so you would have noticed, but
not really. It seemed like it was a mix.
Yeah.
Maybe the end, like the
for the headliners.
Yeah. Maybe during that they kind of say, but also by then the smaller stages were
shut down by then.
Yeah.
So that makes sense, but yeah, all of the bands that we heard did a fantastic job. If we didn't give you a specific shout out, we're sorry. We can't remember everyone that we saw that day. It was a very hectic day.
I can't remember parts of that day.
Yeah, it was very crazy. So again, if we didn't mention you, sorry. I think I mentioned at least everyone that we interviewed. But yeah, support your locals. Support the local music. Go to your small underground shows. See who's out there. These smaller bands, they need the recognition.
Well, and then you find ones that, like, I honestly think, like, Mantra Mortar and Raven Black are going to become favorites of mine.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly think they will. And like, even like, I wouldn't mind going to a Psycho Stick concert
Yeah.
again. That was fun. That
Yeah.
was hilarious. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it was so much fun.
Grow
And
beard.
I can't, well, I mean, I can't grow a full beard, but, I can try. Um, but like, yeah, festivals are so much fun because you never know
Who are you going to
who
discover?
you're going to discover. Because, like, yeah, going to a show is great. You know who you're going to see, um, all of that. But like, going into this, the only ones I knew was Cultus Black.
Yeah. And even that was vaguely.
Well, I knew enough that I sang along to like 2 songs.
Yeah.
Like, I knew enough from that. And I found out that I knew Psycho Stick, but only from like TikTok
Yeah.
because of the, can't
Drowning
count no
Pool.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you never know who you're going to discover. It makes it, I don't know, more interesting that way. And I've found some new favorites that I've
Yeah.
already started, putting
Adding
them
to
in my
your,
rotation.
yeah.
My weird super mix.
Parkour.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in terms of like you mentioned going to shows, generally who you're going to go see, which yeah, a lot of the time you'll buy the tickets for the headliner, but you bought the ticket,
Go see them
go
all.
go see them all.
That's
It's
how
not
we
going to
discovered Volbeat.
what?
That's how we discovered Volbeat.
No, that's how you discovered Volbeat.
Okay. I
But
didn't know you knew who they were.
that's how I discovered Cultus Black. I went to go cover Static X and Dope, and Cultus Black was the opening act, and they were by far my favorite performance of that entire concert. I wouldn't have known that they existed if I didn't go early.
Mm-hmm.
So I always make it a point, get there early, check out the openers because you never know.
You paid for the ticket. Why would you miss part of the show?
Yeah, you never know who you're going to discover, and what's the worst that's going to happen? You don't like the band? Okay, cool. Go grab a beer from the bar or something. Like, whoop de doo. It's not going to take that much time, and it's not going to cost you anything. Go check them out. They deserve it. If you haven't figured it out, we really like pushing the small guys because they deserve. Like I've said a million times, they deserve it.
There's a lot of them out there that if they had that chance, they'd go big.
Yep.
There's a lot. There's a lot that we saw on Saturday that if they just got that right person to see them,
yep,
they would skyrocket.
Yep. Yep. Cultus, Raven, Mantra, Casket Robbery, and all for different reasons. Like if you've noticed, a lot of these festivals that we've discussed, the smallest part has been the headliners. The rest have been all of the supporting acts leading up to it. The smaller ones are the ones that are coming in. They're the ones that are going to continue the genre. They're going to continue the industry. I don't know why you would wait for someone to blow up big before you give them the time of day.
Yeah. And we're not saying everyone does. We're not.
No, but that is a very big thing of what people do. Like they wait for someone to start blowing up and they get hooked on them.
Or they just might not hear them by then.
Well, yeah, that's true. But that's kind of what we're trying to push on this point is go to those shows early. Go to the festivals early. Like I can't tell you how many posts I've seen online about people saying, "Oh, I only want to go to this festival for this one headliner." So they buy a ticket for the entire day and show up right at the end just for the headliner. Like why? I don't.
I had that kind of disposable money.
Well, it's not even about the disposable money. It's like you're already going to be going. Why not go there? Like even go there halfway through the day. See some other bands. Expand your horizons. Okay, I'm if I keep
Well,
on
there's the other tangent.
if I keep on going on this rant, I'm gonna end up going for a while. So I'm
Alright,
gonna
well,
cut that off.
and it is the witching hour, so.
The witching hour. Woo! 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Spooky shit.
Ipuki. Ipuki.
Spooky. All right. Thank you again for tuning in. Sorry that it has been a little bit delayed, but unfortunately, life happens. Um, Tune in next time. I don't know what we've got coming up yet. Got to look in the calendar, but we are going to be trying to do that Halloween show with Raven Black. We are also going to try and do the Dark Side Haunted Attraction.
Well, we might be going to a concert on Saturday too.
Oh, no, I'll talk to you about that later.
No, okay, I guess not.
But yeah, keep checking out these new bands, guys. That's all we ask of you. Check out those new bands, and if there's any bands that you think that we need to know about,
Let us know.
throw it in the comments, and then that way we know what's coming. We know some new people. There are people we haven't heard. Let us know. We'd love to hear them. Stay good, guys. Let's go. And recording and